Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dolphins Roundtable, home of the real Miami Dolphins fans. Make sure to hit that like button on your way in the building. We have a great show planned. And if you haven't already, make sure to comment down below where you are tuning in from, like to see how far Dolphin Nation goes. Let's get into this one. We have the latest on Tua Tagovailoa after the NFL scouting combine. We have the latest on Mel Kiper's mock draft. We're going to react to who he has Miami selecting at number 11. And we have contract extensions for the core four coming up. We're going to get on to that right now. Let's get right into topic number 1. That is Tua Tagovailoa, the latest. According to Adam Schefter, the Dolphins almost certainly will designate Tua Tagovailoa as a post-June 1st release to help defray some of the $99.2 million in dead money it will cost to release him, per at Dan Graziano, ESPN. Now, this isn't official yet. This is just the latest news in this whole saga. Miami is still talking to people potentially about a trade and taking on some of that money to hopefully get him traded to another team so we don't have to release him. However, let's look into what it could do for Miami now that we have this official salary cap number, which came down, okay? So let's give me 1 second here. So we're going to overthecap.com right here. There it is. So we're going to take a look right now at what it would look like if we were to cut him post June 1st, okay? So you're looking at Tua Tagovailoa, this top number right here. It would have $67.4 million in dead money while saving $11.132 in cap. So we actually lose money in terms of cutting Tua Tagovailoa. However, when you look at the overall total for Miami in terms of cap space, it's only $772,000. So with that money, we're going to end up being in the negative again. And with the March 11th coming up for the top 51 and Tua most likely potentially being counted toward that, depending on when they make this decision, could end up hurting Miami, and we have to make more decisions to get back under, depending on how we do this decision with Tua Tagovailoa. But big news coming out of Miami is that Tua Tagovailoa could be on his way out per a post-June 1st designation. Not the greatest news, obviously. Dolphin fans, we expected this to happen, right? A lot of you saying we want him out. Some saying, why not keep him? If you're me, based off the numbers that I'm seeing, it's disappointing getting rid of him, but I know we have to do it. However, I would have kept him another year because if you look at this quarterback class, it's not eye-popping. It's not like you're going to get your franchise guy here. And after Mendoza, there's a long list between Mendoza and the number 2 quarterback. So I think if you're the Dolphins, I would say maybe hang on to him for another year, have him compete for the starting job, potentially bring in a guy like Haynes King, somebody that I'm really high on in this draft class, bring him in, compete, and have Tua as a potential backup, and then release him in the next offseason where you actually end up saving money against the cap instead of losing money in that aspect. But ultimately, it's John Eric Sullivan's decision, and with everything he's done so far, I'm not going to overly get, oh, I can't believe he made that decision. No, he's done everything right so far, and I'm just going to believe in the process of what he's doing and building this team from the line out. We'll see ultimately as the scouting combine is now done and as we move into free agency what it looks like before we get to the NFL draft. But that's the latest on Tua Tagovailoa. Now we're going to get right into the next discussion. Mel Kiper Jr. just released his latest mock draft, and to me, I'm super excited with who he has Miami taking at number 11, Francis Mauigoa, offensive tackle guard out of Miami. Now, ultimately, the question is going to be, what does Miami take him as? If we do take him right here, I think he's better as a tackle. Some see him as a guard, and we'll get into the explanation here in just 1 second if you want to take a read for yourselves. But when we're looking at this, Mel Kiper Jr., to me, this is a really good pick for Miami. I'm happy he made Miami make this decision. Ultimately, it's him and Caleb Downs to me are the top 2 prospects outside of Mendoza in this draft class, and ultimately, we need a guy like Mauigoa. Build him from the line out. That's how championship teams are built. This would be a great place by Mel Kiper. And he's saying the Dolphins quarterback situation is unsettled as they explore trade options for Tua Tagovailoa, as we just mentioned. But Alabama's Ty Simpson is still a reach here, which I totally agree with. So let's instead look at the offensive line. Right tackle Austin Jackson, the team's late first-round pick on the offensive line back in 2020, has struggled to stay on the field and fill in. Larry Borom is a free agent. Maui Noah comes with 42 starts of experience and a mauling attitude, plus he'd be able to keep his parking pass at Hard Rock Stadium as he comes over from the Hurricanes. If Jack stays healthy and takes ownership of the right tackle spot, Maui Noah could easily kick inside the guard. Some scouts think he's a better fit there, and plenty of attention will be paid to his arm length measurements this week at the Combine. Now, let's break that down for a minute. Ty Simpson, to me, is a reach at number 11. I don't think Ty Simpson is a first-round draft pick. Ultimately, he probably will because he is a quarterback, and most quarterbacks get taken higher than where they should. See Josh Rosen. Anyway, but Maui Noah is a great example. If Jackson can maintain that right tackle spot and improve, because he has not looked very good at right tackle and the injury history has been there, if he can eventually stay healthy and become a really good right tackle, then I don't mind moving Maui Noah to guard. But at the same time, you don't take a guard that high in this draft, ultimately. So I think you draft Maui Noah, you release Austin Jackson with the post-June 1st designation, save yourself $11 million against the cap, and ultimately help solidify your right tackle spot. So that's where that is Mel Kiper-wise. But ultimately, he made a really good explanation. I think he's a really good tackle. To me, he's the number one tackle in this draft. If Miami gets him at number 11, I think that's a slam dunk pick. I think if we can come away with him or Caleb Downs at number 11, it's ultimately a steal in the first round, and it would really set us up because this is a heavy starter draft, not a blue chip draft. These are more of a heavy starter. So I think you can find starters even in day 3 as we move in this process. So ultimately, that's where that's at. Mel Kiper, though, number 11, Francis Maui Noah, great pick. And ultimately, I'd be super happy with that if I was a Miami Dolphin fan. Moving on to the latest news out of the Combine as well, besides Tua Tagovailoa. This came out yesterday as well in the more later afternoon toward the end of the scouting Combine. And that was Miami deciding to have discussions, according to Jeremy Fowler and ESPN Fins Extra posting this. The Dolphins are expected to begin working on extensions this offseason for Devon Achane, Aaron Brewer, and Jordan Brooks. That was on X. So now I don't have a problem extending these guys. Ultimately, Devon Achane, we know how talented he is, the value he brings to the Miami Dolphins, younger. However, I am hesitant on this because, as we've seen before, something we've done with extensions before, we given guys big, long extension contracts worth a lot of money, and that's put us in the situation we're in now. So I don't mind extending, even though I believe in this draft that there's a lot of depth and starter pieces that we could take instead of signing a guy like Jordan Brooks who's older, aging. We could bring in someone younger that's better ultimately, but we'll see how that plays out. Now, if we do sign him, and if we sign him to shorter extension, so like 3 or less years, and front load the money, I don't have a problem with it, because then therefore, with them getting older and them aging, and sometimes that production can drop, if we front load it, we get the best out of them early in about a 1 to 2 year rebuild, which is what we're expecting. Then by year 3, if it's a 3-year extension and their play starts to drop off, we can just get rid of them, and it doesn't hurt us nearly as much. Because if you look at what Chris Greer did, Jalen Ramsey, you're looking at Tua's contract. I mean, and Bradley Chubb, those 3 contracts and Tyreek Hill are hurting us because of what Chris Greer did. He gave contracts to older, aging players worth a lot of money for longer years, and the production was just not there, and ultimately has hurt us. So shorter, front-loaded contracts ultimately be the good way to go here, but ultimately I don't feel we should extend them, to be honest. Achane, yeah, maybe, but I think we can get more in a trade for Achane than we could by extending him, because it's going to be a 1 to 2 year rebuild. So like I said, short contracts, front-loaded, would be the best option going forward if we were to extend these 3 players. But I'm not a big fan of extending Jordan Brooks or Aaron Brewer just quite yet. Achane is a stronger possibility because of how his value is and what his versatility and how he's able to help our offense. But that's going to do it for this edition on the Dolphins Roundtable. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already done so. and to subscribe to the channel. We want to shout out all the subscribers that have joined the channel, over 100. So shout out to all you Dolphin fans out there for subscribing to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you can tell your friends about it, and hopefully they get in on the channel and subscribe as well to get all the latest content. Make sure to like the video, and we'll see you in the next episode.